Our top story this hour: in response to Beijing's crackdown on democracy in Hong Kong, US President Joe Biden has offered temporary safe haven to Hong Kong residents in the United States. The memorandum signed by Biden would allow thousands of people to extend their stay in the country. The move is likely to further inflame the already tense relations between Washington and Beijing. Now, Hong Kong citizens who fear for their safety amid the political crackdown back home will receive temporary safe haven. The Department of Homeland Security has been directed to implement a deferral of removal for up to 18 months. Compelling foreign policy reasons can be cited as the reason. The decision to provide temporary safe haven comes in response to Hong Kong's sweeping new national security law that undercut the rights promised when the former British colony was handed back to China in 1997. China implemented the law last year to criminalize what it considers subversion, secessionism, terrorism, or collusion with foreign forces. It also comes as China and the United States are at odds over foreign policy and trade. The memo signed by Biden said over the last year, China has continued its assault on Hong Kong's autonomy, undermining its remaining democratic processes and institutions, imposing limits on academic freedom and cracking down on freedom of the press. Biden further said this decision furthers America's interest in the region. The United States will not waver in our support of people in Hong Kong. It is the latest in a series of actions Biden has taken to address what his administration says is the erosion of rule of law in Hong Kong.
And our work on the international forum is to change the behavior that is happening and the oppression that we're seeing of the people in Hong Kong. But certainly this step is one that is meant to ensure we are practicing what we preach in terms of human rights values and ensuring that people who are in this country don't face the ongoing repression that we're seeing in Hong Kong.
The U.S. government back in July applied more sanctions on Chinese officials in Hong Kong and warned companies of risks of operating under the national security law. China retaliated against the U.S. actions last month with its own sanctions on Americans, including former U.S. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross. China's embassy in Washington has not yet responded to Biden's safe haven measure. And our correspondent Nick Harper has sent us this report on the story. Let's listen in.
President Biden's order blocks the removal of Hong Kong residents whose visas have expired. Under normal circumstances, anyone who remains in the US beyond the term of their visa can be forcibly removed and sent back to their home country. But President Biden says China's actions against Hong Kong makes it difficult for residents to safely return, noting that there are compelling foreign policy reasons for allowing them to stay in the US. Mr. Biden said that China had undermined the enjoyment of rights and freedoms in Hong Kong, a semi-autonomous city under Beijing's control. He said he was acting after what he referred to as politically motivated arrests and trials, the silencing of the media, and the diminishing space for elections and democratic opposition. The US president's decision follows Beijing's national security law, which came into effect last summer. Since June 2020, at least 100 opposition leaders and activists have been arrested, and police have detained more than 10,000 people who've been involved in anti-government protests. The erosion of democracy in Hong Kong is one of the key areas that Washington has criticised Beijing over since President Biden took office in January.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.